Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the backstory. If you are new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today President William Ruto has opened a Pandora's box over the abductions that happened during Gen Z's demonstrations. President William Ruto has made a statement that has elicited a lot of negative reactions from Kenyans. Apparently, they were holding an international press briefing together with the Finnish president who has been visiting Kenya for the last 3 days. And when asked about the abductions that happened, then he had this to say.
As has happened in the past, where Kenyans disappeared and their bodies were found in all manner of places, that will not happen under my administration. And all the people who disappeared or who were abducted in what you said, all of them have been brought back to their families and to their homes. And I have given clarity and firm instructions that nothing of that kind of nature will happen again, and that it was my commitment as I became president that extrajudicial disappearances of Kenyans will not be part of what we are doing as a nation.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, from that statement, what Kenyans are asking is President William Ruto admitting that the abductions that happened during Gen Z's demonstrations happened under his watch, or who conducted those abductions? Because he has said categorically that those who were abducted or those who are lost have been reunited with their families. So the question is, who did them? And what was the motive behind these abductions? Because you remember, during that Gen Z's demonstration, when President William Ruto was asked about the abductions, he stated categorically that he was not aware.
Pale nyuma kuna wananchi wengi sana walipoteza maisha yao kwa mauaji ya kiholela. Watu wengi walizamishwa pale Yala, wengine waliwekwa Athi River, wengine waliwekwa sijui river gani. Na mimi wakati nimechukua usukani, nimevunja ile genge ya polisi ambayo ilikuwa inatekeleza mambo hayo. Najua ya kwamba kumetokea tetezi za watu waliotekwa nyara. Msimamo wangu, msimamo wa serikali ya Kenya, sera, policy, position ya serikali ya Kenya ni kwamba mambo ya utekaji nyara hayataruhusiwa katika serikali hii. Na wale wanahusika na huo utekaji nyara, the police must take responsibility and make sure they deal with those either in their ranks or the people who are involved in matters abduction.
But when police officers were asked about abductions were happening in the country, they also stated categorically that they were not involved. So the question that Kenyans were asking then, that Kenyans are still asking up to now, is who was carrying out these abductions? And when will these people be brought to book? When will these people be held accountable for whatever heinous crimes they did? Because whatever they did was unconstitutional. Because the Constitution of Kenya states categorically that when someone is arrested, you take him to a police station, and then within 24 hours, you're supposed to be arraigned in a court of law and charged. But these guys were abducted, detained in detention centers for more than, some people stayed in those centers for more than 2-3 months. So what happens to them? Will there be justice to these people? Because from that statement, it means that there was a force that was enacting or doing all these abductions. But what Kenyans want to know is, who are they? Now, the second question that comes into the mind of Kenyans, yeah, let's take for example, or let's accept that these guys have reunited with their families, but will they be compensated for the injustices that were done to them? Because if there was no justice, then they need to be compensated. And if you look at the agreement which was signed by the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's party, ODM, and President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza administration to come up with a broad-based government, compensation of those who were abducted and those who were killed was among the key pillars, the 10-point agenda that was signed by the two parties. So the question is, where are we with the compensation? Are Kenyans going to be compensated for those who were killed and those who were abducted? Are they going to be compensated? And if not, what plans do they have? Then the third issue that comes, okay, on the same issue, the question that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will be asked, if this was among the 10 points agenda, where are you? Are you holding the government accountable now that President William Ruto has talked about these guys reuniting with their families? After reuniting with their families, what happens next? Whatever is said that so many Kenyans that were abducted have reunited with their families is contradicting the Human Rights Watch report, which states that since 2019 up to around 2024, close to 1,000 people have gone missing. They have not been reunited with their families. Then from 2024 to 2025, during those Gen Z's demonstrations, around 56 people have not reunited with their families. So where are these people? If the president says that they have reunited with their family, where are the people who have not been accounted for? And remember, this is an issue that brought a lot of conflict between the president himself and the former Attorney General, J.B. Muturi. Remember, at some point, J.B. Muturi went to press and told Kenyans about the ordeal that he went through when his son was abducted. This was the Attorney General's son being abducted at a time when you'd expect him to have access to all the machineries, all the state securities. But however much you're not defending his son because he's a grown-up and he knows what the law says, but he was saying that he went to a point that he had to meet the president and talk to him about his son's abduction. And then the president himself had to call the head of National Intelligence Service so as to acquire the release of J.B. Muturi's son. And this brought a lot of conflict between the two, up to a point whereby J.B. Muturi had to be sent home packing. So this issue of abductions is something that needs to be addressed. Even though the president has said that going forward, no abductions is going to be done. But you know, politicians and heads of states and police officers and security apparatus, sometimes they overreach their mandate. Because look at it, abductions, this is not the first time it's happening in Kenya. It started long time ago, during Kenyatta's administration, Moi's administration as well, Kibaki, Uhuru, and even the beginning of President William Ruto's presidency. All this started. But we have to get to a point as a country whereby we're saying enough is enough. We have to toe the line. We have to follow the Constitution as the Constitution says. It's clearly stated in the Constitution how, when you commit an offense, what should be done. And our Constitution addresses some of these issues and what is supposed to be done at the end of it. So my hope and prayer is that President William Ruto will address some of these things. And then there were issues that were raised during those Gen Z's demonstrations that have not been addressed so far. Even though the finance bill was addressed and withdrawn, another finance bill has been tabled. Kenyans have not raised so many issues about it, But the issue of corruption, which was raised then, is still a monster that is lurking behind the shadows of this government. So these are the issues that the president needs to work on, so that you don't muzzle the voices that are criticizing the government, because criticism is part of feedback. You either take it positively, or because some people think that if they are criticized, then it's like you are against them. But for a good government, criticism means you're getting feedback, so that you can use that feedback to craft up policies that will work for your people. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep monitoring. I know it's something that has elicited a lot of reactions online, and it's going to be picked up by politicians. It's going to be picked up by so many civic organizations, and we'll keep monitoring what's going on, and we'll keep you updated. But if you're new here, kindly hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below, so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye bye.